Hello, welcome to Dungeon Bros Podcast. I'm your host Justin. So usually I record these like in the mornings after I walk my dog, but I decided, fuck it. Today it's Tuesday night. I usually do the showcases on Wednesday, so I'm like, instead of watching this really shitty looking 80s horror movie I was going to watch called Chopping Mall, which is about like robot security guards going crazy, killing horny teenagers. I decided, let's get this done and over with, and we're gonna do another showcase video for you guys today. This time we're gonna talk about my Vertigo books, which Vertigo was a DC like subsidiary, or I guess that's the word you would use, where like DC's like more mature stories, or like like adult, like more like adult oriented like comics, they would publish under the Vertigo publishing line. So parents would know, hey, if it's a Vertigo book, my kids probably shouldn't read that, right? And like most of the Vertigo books aren't like non superhero stuff, but like some of the DC superhero stuff did get published under the Vertigo line. Like a lot of the Grant Morrison runs from the 80s were republished as Vertigo trades, which I have a couple here. Which I have here 8 books in total, which it's a bigger stack than you would think. It's a big stack here because like a lot of the books are omnibuses, right? So they're thick. So we're gonna start off with a book which we already reviewed on this channel, which is Sandman, Volume 1, Preludes and Nocturnes by Neil Gaiman, with art by Sam Keefe, Mike Drinkenberg, and Malcolm Jones III. Which for this version, which they republished this book, so like you would probably have to pay more for it. But this version was published in 2010, and I paid like $23 for it, 20 US. This book was it's the thing where it was a good book, but it wasn't really for me. But it was still pretty. It was still good, and like you had some really cool art in there. And they're making this comic series into a TV series, which that shouldn't be any surprise, to be honest, because they're taking anything that was popular comics wise and turning it into like a shitty TV series and movie. Like today I was watching the Jupiter's Legacy TV show, and after I got to episode 3 and I was just done. It was like, fuck this. They changed. It's the thing where like, okay, how do you make what's basically a 12-issue series into like 2 seasons? And they're like by spreading out like a shitload of stuff, adding a bunch of new characters, and they even changed character motivations. They fucked up one of the coolest scenes in the comic book, which was basically all that scene was about was just to tell you, hey, this character who's gonna go evil later on in the show has this really broken fucking power that he can exploit to kill like anybody, right? And they ruin it by having the villain they were using against break free, and it turns out like that villain was like a clone or something. Like it's like not explained. So it's like, oh, they're doing some different bullshit. So like Utopian's probably not gonna die to the final episode of Volume 1, which is Season 1. So dumb. And like they changed they changed a character that was my favorite character in the book, and made him look entirely unrecognizable, dude. right? And they made him like, oh, the dude's like he plans heists and shit. And I'm like, fuck this. They ruined my favorite character from the book. Go fuck yourself. So I'm done with that show. Right? Which, I kind of like, it was like, thing is, when I went to go check the casting, they had an entirely different actor. So I guess they were pulling some sneaky shits. But like, yeah, fuck that. Fuck the Jupiter's Legacy TV show. I should have known Steven DeKnight would have fucked it up. But yeah. So the next book I got is Preacher Book 1 by Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon, which is a very infamous vertical title. I paid like $24 for it. It's written, $24 is 20 US. And if you're a religious man, you have religion, and you take it seriously, do not read this book. It's very blasphemous and all that. Not a fan of the Catholic jokes in this book, but it's a thing. I for the longest time I didn't read this shit, right? Even though Garth Ennis is a really good writer, he is a really great writer. But I didn't read this shit because, like, it's blasphemous as shit. But I went through like atheist phase for a total of I think it was somewhere between 2 weeks and a month, right? And I just got so depressed in my atheist phase that I was like, I can't handle this anymore. And there is some universal truths that God does with this, in my opinion, or whatever. But yeah, during my atheist phase, I read this book and it was good. But like, yeah, it was too. But if you're a Christian and you believe in God, I wouldn't read this book if I were you. But if you're atheist, you'll probably love this book. So the next book is Doom. Well, I should probably do this book first. Doom Patrol, Volume 2, The Painting That Ate Paris by Grant Morrison, Richard Case, and John Nyborg. I have a funny story about this book, which this collects issues 26 through 34 of the DC Comics series Doom Patrol from the 80s. I paid like $30 for this book, $30.95, which is so random, which was such a ripoff. Considered, I also have the reprinted Omnibus Doom Patrol Volume 1, because like I picked up Volume 2 first, and the comic, which they both have really cool covers, so it doesn't feel like a complete ripoff. Which they both have Brian Bolland covers, but like, yeah, this one that I bought it because they didn't have Volume 1. And, the comic book guy said he would try to order Volume 1 for me, which he never did, so he used the, it's out of print excuse. But, it doesn't feel like a complete ripoff because you have the cool Brian Bolland art, which Brian Bolland, for people who don't remember, Brian Bolland was a British artist who started off in like AD Comics, the Judge Dredd English comics company, and went to work for DC, and he did The Killing Joke with Alan Moore, and then retired from doing in-book art to only doing cover arts, and he did a bunch of covers for different Grant Morrison series, and he even did some covers for New 52, like that one, Dial H for Hero, that series, which was kind of good, but it started to, once the main character started dating his like old lady mentor, it got weird. But yeah. So the next book is the Doom Patrol Omnibus 1, which I got recently, book 1, which is $40 Canadian, 30 US, which collects issues 19 through 34. 19 through 34. So you get an extra 7 issues. Okay. And this one. Which, yeah, this... I only got halfway through this book. Because it just got too, like, you know... I got too burnt out. Because it was a long-ass fucking read, dude. But yeah, this was a pretty cool book. And if you... I think there's like 2 or 3 volumes which collects the entire Grant Morrison Doom Patrol run, so you want to pick that up. And but yeah, I also saw the TV series. I didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah, was not a fan of the TV series. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. So the next, you know what? I want to do these last couple books last, because you know, this is my favorite. These are my favorite Vertigo books. So I'm gonna do those for last. So this one, next one we're doing, is the first Fable book, Fables, Legends in Exile, which was a Bill Willingham series, which with art by Lan Medina. Which didn't he work on Deadpool? Which the art in this book is pretty cool. This trade costs 15 Canadian, 13 US. So what this story for this book is basically a bunch of fairy tale characters had to escape their fantasy world and are now living in our world, but they have to, you know, they have to make themselves look human, and if they can't make themselves human, they have to go back. They have to go and live in this like isolated farm, and the Fables Society is run by Snow White, if I remember correctly, and his sheriff, the lawman of the Fables, is the Big Bad Wolf, who's a werewolf. If you played the what's it called? Tales Games or whatever, Tall Tales Games. I can't remember the name of that gaming company, but yeah, the people who did the Walking Dead game and all those shitty point-and-click adventure franchise games. Yeah, they made a game based off Fables, which was actually, the story was pretty cool. It was way better than this comic book, which the comic book is basically it's an introduction into the Fables world, and you have the big bad wolf character try to solve a whodunit, and the whodunit in this book is was very anticlimactic. Spoiler alert: the girl faked her death to go live with her boyfriend, which I think was Jack the Giant Slayer or Giant Killer. I can't remember, but yeah, it was disappointing read, which is why I never picked up the second book. But yeah, but people love this series, but I was not a huge fan. And apparently Bill Willingham joined Comicsgate for some fucking reason, which, you know, he comes off like a leftist, so I don't know why you would, but whatever. So the next 3 books are the complete run of Grant Morrison's Almo Man run, with beautiful covers by Brian Bolden, which I have all 3 volumes. Which volume 1 I paid 25 Canadian, 20 US. Second volume 23 Canadian. And what was the last one? 24 Canadian. Okay. So that was fucking weird. So it started off. Okay, whatever. So yeah, I love this run, even though it does get a little preachy with the vegetarianism that, like, you know, Almo Man forces his family to comply with. He has like this. If you ever seen the Teen Titans cartoon, where, like, you know, Beast Boy is constantly, like, you know, whenever they have to, like, order food and stuff, he's like, get me vegetarian. I don't eat animals. I transform them into animals. Animals are people too. Bullshit. Which I'm an animal lover myself, but like you know, like you can't. Man is supposed to eat meat, okay? We're not monkeys and that can live off fucking bugs and shit. Sorry, I have a milkshake here that I bought like a while ago, so and it's melting. So yeah. Fucking hell. So yeah, and also this series is known for getting very meta near the end of the series. I don't want to spoil it too much, but yeah, and there's some cool time travel bullshit as well, which you know may or may not like you know. There's this like black evil version of the Almo Man, and that's like stalking like Almo Man's family. So you're like, what the fuck? And yeah, it gets weird. Also, this run also is very similar to the Doom Patrol run, where like Grant Morrison's like, man, how can I make this character that like a lot of people think are lame cool? I'm just gonna have him wear a leather jacket over his costume, like he does, like you know, Robot Man does, and like the Doom Patrol run, where he's just wearing like a leather jacket and like you know clothes. Here he just has like Almo Man wear a leather jacket with over his costume, which you know, still when I think of the Almo Man costume, I think this one. Though the Almo Man costume in Jeff Lemire's New 52 run was also cool, which the Jeff Lemire's New 52 run steals a lot from this run as well, which I can't remember if I liked the new Almo Man New 52 run. Like, I got to like I think 25 issues, and I only got to like 25 issues because the comic book guy fucked me over, where I canceled I canceled like all my pull lists, right? And he made this stupid rule, which he didn't tell me about when I first started the pull list, where after the pull list starts, you know, you have to, and when you cancel, you have to buy the next 2 weeks of pull list of the books, right? Even though he does, if you know how pull lists work, he has to order the books every Wednesday. So it should, at the most, right, it should be like you should have like a week notice, right? So like you should only have to buy the next book and that's if he even orders it, right? Which they order the books on Wednesdays, right? I think, if I remember correctly, or no, they come in Wednesdays. So like come on, man, like it's such a ripoff. But not only did he make me pay for the next 2 weeks of like pull list runs, he even made me pick up more books, right? I think like it was 4 weeks of shit. It was fucking insane, dude. Like I couldn't believe this shit. And he tried to pass it off like, oh, I forgot these books, dude. No, dude, I specifically stopped coming after I picked up the next 2 weeks of books, right? So like I go back there months later, right? And he gives me he has like a stack of books he wants me to pay for, which was such fucking bullshit. But yeah, the Almo Man run is pretty cool. And if you don't mind spoilers, I'll spoil the most memorable thing about this series. In 1, 2, 3, go. So basically, Grant Morrison kills off Almo Man's family, and then Almo Man, like, you know, they start doing this breaking the fourth wall bullshit. So the series ends with Almo Man meeting Grant Morrison and trying to kill him, but he can't kill Grant Morrison because Grant Morrison explains to him, hey, that I'm basically a god in your world and you're not even real in mine. And that he basically killed Almo Man's family because he was super depressed over the death of his fucking cat in real life, and it's like, wow, dude, that's some fucking bullshit. Yeah, so yeah, which yeah, what fucking bullshit. Yeah, that's how it ends. So yeah, so that was my Vertigo books. If like with all my other showcases, if there's any of these books you want me to review, let me know and I'll review them. Which I wouldn't mind reviewing the Almo Man books again, even though I think I did on my last channel. Which good luck finding it. Yeah. Yeah. So next showcase, we're going to do. I think we held off on the X-Men spin-off books, which the reason I didn't do that yet because I should probably dig through my back issues and pick up my X-Men #1s I have. Like I got Cable and the Extreme X-Men, Generation Hope, and other Extreme X-Men also. Cable and Extreme X-Force, and like I also have the Extreme X-Men, which is the Exiles, like, you know, reboots kinda. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So look forward to that, and comic book haul videos should start sometime in June, hopefully, but who the fuck knows what's going on. Alright guys, that's it for this video.